process suffices for hiring in the tech industry? I'm gonna reword that. What do you think about the technical interview process?
I think the technical interview process is kind of crazy. And it's a cottage industry within the tech industry now, which it really wasn't 10 years ago. So if you're looking for a job, you need to, just like if you're taking an SAT, you want to know around it, how to hack it. Same thing with the tech interview process.
Neither. I think it's actually because it's like a lot of it's historical. I mean, a lot of like whiteboarding and stuff. A lot of like the core like CS concepts. Like I think they're important to know, but I think it's a product of a time when there were just fewer engineers and we needed fewer engineers. And now things have evolved to a point where you have a lot more like front end type roles, mobile developers, where like knowing these concepts is important, but you also deal with them like so rarely. And such a big part of, I mean, these are huge companies now, so like such a big part of being successful is like communicating properly, like asking the right questions, like knowing how to problem solve in general rather than like knowing a specific algorithm or something. Because I mean, again, there's like libraries now, there's frameworks, there's a lot of stuff that gets kind of automated away, but you know, the process is still slow to catch up. And I think the industry wouldn't exist to support that if the process was doing its job. So clearly it's failing, and like the result of that is programs like this, or you know, any of these like boot camps or anything that are trying to fill that need.
It's definitely how you communicate with the other person, right? It's so easy to get so like wrapped up and like scared when you're on the whiteboarding interview, because it's like, yo, this is my life. Like, do I get the job or not? You know. But definitely being able to communicate and relate to the person that's interviewing you, because that person who's interviewing you can have a bad day, and you just happen to have an interview on that day. It's that like shaking, this craziness, and we need to fix that. I honestly think we need to fix that. But one thing is for sure, learn how to communicate and learn how to, you know, be human and connect with the other person. Second thing, you're working on a problem together when it comes to these interviews. Communicate what you're thinking and your thought process every time you write something on that board, because this is what the interview is for. This is the only thing they got for you, to like the only thing they can do to base your performance off of. Make sure you explain the thought process. Make sure you explain what you're doing and why you're doing it, because that's what they're grading you on. And so if you're quiet, then you know they can't know how much to grade on. So
Outco will help you focus on is learning to be concise in your answers. There's a whole process around your introduction of yourself, which you need to get, I don't know what the time limit is, but like 30 seconds, a minute. That's really all you have before a recruiter or the manager is just gonna start thinking about their vacation or something else. So just learning to be able to really distill who you are into these little short bits is critical. And I mean, I still think about it in meetings, when I'm communicating with people, when I'm talking to customers. It's just the truth of conversation with people. Be concise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's problem solving and communication. You know, again, I don't know, just to reiterate kind of what Mark said. I mean, if the top two skills, like general problem solving, it doesn't matter if it's an algorithm or if it's designing a new product or if it's navigating a situation with a coworker. I think that's a huge skill. And then the communication piece is just knowing how to interface with other people, because it doesn't matter how good of an engineer you are, like you're gonna have to deal with people at some point.
It's not about learning everything or being comfortable in everything. It's just accepting who you are, what you're good at, what you're not good at, and those are the real things that will matter in your career.
Yeah, so I think the biggest way I was able to become a little more comfortable admitting that I didn't know something, or like admitting I might not have the skills necessary for like to complete a task, is that it can't, like, I just tried to have an attitude of, and this is something you taught me about, trying to bring value in some way. And maybe that's just like doing some of the grunt work that anyone could do, but that frees up time for someone else. Just offering, just having like the mindset of like, I'm trying to be helpful. Because then, you know, the rest comes. I think like having the focus on worrying about like what I don't know is just taking up brain space where I could be focusing on like, what can I do? Like, so it's a better question. It's like, what, rather than like, what don't I know? So what can I do? What can I do? Because you got to start somewhere.
I mean, I used to go through that all the time. Like me and Mador, we were in the same program, and like we used to be like, yo, we got this interview at this one place. We're about to go and like, you know, so we studied. Me and him studied. We've been on the side. We're like doing all these quizzes on the side and stuff. Failed the phone screen. We wouldn't apply for another job for another 6 months because we're like, yo, we're obviously trash. But so many times, bro, it's like, it's not you, it's the company. Like they're just not ready for you. Like I said, there's people who've been smart, great, but we just don't have the space for them because it's like, you know, and it's wild because even me, like me now giving interviews, there are people who've been to college, Berkeley, all these like top colleges and stuff like that. I haven't even graduated college, and I'm interviewing them. And I'm like, bro, if they asked me this question when I applied for this job, I would have not gotten this job. But the thing is, at the time, I fit in for where they were looking for. That's why I got the job. People have to remember, sometimes it's not them, it's literally the company. They're just not ready for you.
I think as an engineer, and if you're going to Outco, you're going to become an engineer or a better engineer. There's kind of this contradiction that you'll see throughout your career where people assume you know everything and you know how to solve every problem. And you have to be ready to have an answer for everything. But at the same time, you really won't know that your answer works until you've engineered the solution. And that's, I think, part of the technical interview is in a very like microcosm, you're engineering a solution to a problem.
At all times. Reverse engineering,
Yeah.
mostly.
But what's bad about the tech interviews is they're just kind of regurgitating the same old questions. That's why, like, when I give interviews, I usually just like take a problem that happened at work a week ago. Like, I find those kind of tech interviews much more interesting than some algorithm from a
Adam, you
book.
just redesigned the technical interview process.
Yeah.
Savage.
So
File
the
it. Okay, I was ready.
I was ready.